Hello, grade 3. Hope you're doing well. Are you ready for our lesson today? It's about fractions. You've heard about fractions before, so let's start by refreshing our memory. A fraction describes part of a whole when the whole is cut into equal parts. So this pizza is cut into 3 equal parts. So fractions are equal parts of a whole. And there are many different ways a whole can be divided into equal parts. When you look at a shape that's divided into parts, it's important to tell whether the parts are equal. This shape is divided into 6 squares. All 6 squares are exactly the same size. So this shape is divided into 6 equal parts, or sixths. Now let's see the other shapes. 1, 2, 3, 4. The 4 shapes are squares, but they are divided differently. The first one here is divided into halves, or 2 equal parts. This one is divided into 4 equal parts, or fourths. This one is divided into fourths too. This square is divided into 9 equal parts, or ninths. Take a look at those 2 circles. The first one is cut into 3 equal parts, or thirds. The second one is cut into 8 equal parts, or eighths. How about this shape? Is it divided into equal parts? No, this shape is divided into 3 parts, but the parts aren't the same size. These are not thirds. So we can't talk about fractions. How do you write a fraction? We put the total number of equal parts in the whole on the bottom. In this shape, we have 3 equal parts. 3 is on the bottom. It's called the denominator. Then, we put the number of parts that we want to represent on the top. One part is shaded, so 1 goes on the top. It's called the numerator. So 1 out of 3 equal parts is shaded. When thinking about fractions, the whole doesn't always need to be a shape. The whole might be a group of things. Example, we made 6 cookies. 1 is peanut butter and 5 are chocolate chip. How would you write the number of peanut butter cookies as a fraction? First, we want to represent the number of peanut butter cookies. It's 1. 1 peanut butter cookie out of 6 cookies. So the total number of cookies is 6. It goes on the bottom. So 1/6 cookies are peanut butter. What is a unit fraction? A unit fraction represents one part of all the equal parts of a whole. Let's take a look at those unit fractions. 1/3, 1/8, 1/2, 1/6, and 1/4. What is the common thing among these fractions? A unit fraction has 1 as a numerator. Take a look at this box. This box is divided into 6 equal parts, or sixths. You can count equal parts, such as sixths, to make a whole. Each part is 1/6. Here's 1/6 part. The fraction for 1/6 part is 1/6. Here are 2 1/6 parts. The fraction for 2 1/6 parts is 2/6. The fraction for 3 1/6 parts is 3/6. Now try to guess what is the fraction for 4 1/6 parts. It's 4/6. What is the fraction for 5 1/6 parts? It's 5/6. Now show the fraction for 6 1/6 parts. The fraction for 6 1/6 parts is 6/6. When all of the parts are shaded, one whole shape is equal to all of its parts. This square has 6 parts and 6 parts shaded. 6/6 equals 1. Now take a look at this circle. This circle is divided into equal parts. How many equal parts? If you said 6, it's correct, since the denominator tells the number of equal parts in the whole. Each part is 1/6, or one of 6 equal parts of the circle. Now, how many parts are shaded? 4. So 4/6 of the circle is shaded. Can you guess which fraction represents the shaded area? If you said 4/6, it's correct. 4 of 6 equal parts are shaded. Let's solve this problem. Audrey buys a bouquet of 24 flowers. 1/8 of them are red. How many of the flowers are red? We can model the problem with counters. We can separate the 24 counters into equal groups. We want to find the flowers that are red, 1/8 of the group. So how many equal groups should there be? There should be 8 equal groups. Now let's divide the counters to create equal groups. Let's put one counter in each group. Let's put a second counter in each group, then a third counter in each group. The counters are now in 8 equal groups. One of the 8 groups show 1/8. How many counters are in this group? 3. So 1/8 of 24 is 3. How many of Audrey's flowers are red? 3. How can you use the numerator and denominator in a fraction to find part of a group? The denominator tells how many groups to divide the total into. So you divided the counters into 8 groups. The numerator tells you how many of the groups to count. So you counted one group, or 1/8 of the total. Now you'll watch a short video to learn how you can compare two fractions.
Compare fractions with the same denominator. Which fraction is less? 2/6 or 5/6? These fractions have the same denominator, 6. You can use models to compare fractions. 2 out of 6 equal parts are colored. 5 out of 6 equal parts are colored. Both shapes have 6 equal parts and are the same size, so the parts in the first shape are the same size as the parts in the second shape. When parts are the same size, 2 parts is less than 5 parts. 2/6 is less than 5/6. Another example. Which fraction is greater? 7/8 or 4/8? Let's use the number line to compare these fractions. "7/8 is farther to the right on the number line. So 7/8 is greater than 4/8. Compare fractions with the same numerator. Which fraction is less? 1 over 3, or 1 over 4. These fractions have the same numerator, 1. You can use models to compare fractions. 1 out of 3 equal parts is colored. 1 out of 4 equal parts are colored. Both shapes have one colored part, but the part in the second shape is smaller. This is because the second shape is sliced into 4 parts instead of 3. So, less of the second shape is colored. 1 over 4 is less than 1 over 3. Another example. Which fraction is less? 2 over 7 or 2 over 4? Let's use the number line to compare these fractions. This is 2 over 7. This is 2 over 4. 2 over 4 is farther to the right on the number line. So 2 over 7 is less than 2 over 4.
On Saturday, the campers paddled 2/6 of their planned route down the river. On Sunday, they paddled 2/4 of their route. Did the campers paddle farther on Saturday or on Sunday? Let's use fraction strips to model the problem. The red fraction strip shows the distance of the whole trip. This fraction strip shows more parts in the whole. Let's shade 2 parts to show 2/6. Now let's shade 2 parts to show 2/4. Let's compare. Is 2/6 less than or greater than 2/4? 2/6 is less than 2/4. So the campers traveled farther on Sunday, the day they traveled 2/4 of their planned route. Now let's use reasoning to compare the fractions. Since the numerators are the same, look at the denominators to compare the shaded pieces of the fraction strips. How does the number of pieces affect the size of the pieces? The more pieces a whole is divided into, the smaller the pieces are. The fewer pieces a whole is divided into, the larger the pieces are. So 2/4 is larger than 2/6 because with fourths the whole is divided into fewer pieces. Let's use fraction strips to compare and order 3 fractions. First, let's shade the top model to show 3/8. 1/8 is the amount made by separating a whole into 8 equal parts. So 3/8 is 3 of those 8 equal parts. Now let's shade the next strip to show 7/8. 7/8 is 7 of those 8 equal parts. Let's shade the last strip to show 5/8. The denominators are the same. So what can we say about the size of the pieces? The size of the pieces is the same. So let's think about the number of pieces to compare and order fractions. 3/8 is the shortest. 7/8 is the longest. 5/8 is between the other two fractions. So what's the order from least to greatest? The order from least to greatest is 3/8, 5/8, 7/8. Here's another problem for ordering fractions. Let's shade the fraction strips to show 2/6, 2/4, and 2/8. So we need to shade 2 unit fractions in each strip. The least fraction is 2/8. The greatest fraction is 2/4. and 2/6 is in between. Thank you for listening.